Alright guys, so I need you to get out your reading notebook. Let's see if we can beat the timer. Do it silently. Don't argue. You beat the timer? If you did, great. If you didn't, that's fine. Get your materials and let's get going. So, in our last lesson, we read the Miser and identified the characteristics of fables. Simple characters, settings that may or may not be realistic, and events that help teach readers a lesson. We also saw that fables have a moral or a clearly stated theme. Identifying the genre of a story often helps us understand the story better by allowing us to form expectations about it and compare it to other stories from the same genre. So in this mini lesson, we're going to use key details to create mental images of events in a fable. These images help us understand what the characters are doing and provide us with a way to check our own understanding of the story. We know that we've misunderstood something about the story and we can't create an image of it if we can't create an image of it in our heads. So, I am going to read aloud the title in paragraph 1. I am going to identify and annotate key details that'll help me create a mental image of what the Miser does. So, the Miser, a fable from Aesop, retold by Asha Sandler. A miser took his life savings and bought gold pieces, which he buried in a hole in his backyard. Every day he went to the spot and dug up the treasure so that he could look at it and make sure it was still there. So, as I read, I'm going to look for details that'll help me make a mental image or a picture in my mind. I'll think about what the miser's doing. I read that the miser had his gold pieces, so he bought gold pieces. If I do it on mine, you do it on yours. Which he buries in a hole in his backyard. Let's see. Those are key details, so I'll underline them. As I keep reading, I see that he likes to look at them to feel content or happy. He likes to look at them it makes him happy. So, as I keep reading, I see that it says, looking at them makes him feel wealthy and content. Content means to just be kind of happy with what you have going on. So, when I create a mental image, I want to think about what is my mental image of the miser's actions. What is the miser doing that helps me think about him? Well, I can imagine the miser digging a super deep hole, one scoop of dirt at a time. I can hear the shovel that he's using hit the ground, and I can also hear the dirt that he's shoveling out hit the ground behind him. He carefully puts the beautiful shiny coins in the hole. I can hear them clink against each other as he drops them in the hole. So, I am going to open up Kami so that we can begin to make an anchor chart to help us with understanding creating mental images. So, as I read, in order to be able to create mental images, there are some things that I have to do. I look for specific words that tell what the character does. If I go back to our text, it says that the miser bought gold pieces. He buried them in a hole. Then it talks about how he's happy about that. Notice I underlined those words or phrases. Then I use the text evidence in my senses to create a mental picture of the character's actions and how those actions help the plot continue. So, things that we are going to look for with our writing when we're wanting to create mental images. We want to look for different elements of the image. We also want to look for what to look for to help us figure out the elements of the image. So, some elements that we could look for are the characters, the setting, actions, and the plot. What to look for to create our mental image for characters is their physical description. Does it tell what they look like? Does it tell how they dress? The setting, to figure that out, we can look for sensory words. Remember, words that appeal to our sight, our taste, our touch, our smell, our hearing, words like that. For our actions, we can look for strong verbs. And for the plot, we can look for words that show conflict. So using these strategies will help us to be able to create mental images as we read. I looked for details in the text that helped me create a mental image of a character's actions and the story's events. By creating mental images, I can understand the connections between events in a story and check my understanding of what I've read. Now, you're going to practice using details to create your own mental image. So, independently, I want you to read page 12. You may work with the people at your table if you would like. You don't have to. So as you reread, underline the key details that describe the theft of the miser's gold. What mental image can you create with the details from that? So, guest teacher, if you'll pause the video and give students an opportunity for that. I believe you'll have some really good discussions. So, our question was our task was to underline the key details that describe the theft of the miser's gold. So I noticed that it says some thieves. If there are thieves, does that mean that there are more than one? So over here to the side, I'm going to write more than one thief. There was more than one person that stole the miser's gold. I can also continue reading. He must have something valuable buried out there, they said to each other. That doesn't really tell us what the thieves did. If I look below, I can see that it says, one night, the thieves tiptoed into the miser's yard. And dug around in the dirt. So, when did it happen? It happened one night. What did the thieves do? They tiptoed. Where did the thieves tiptoe? Into the miser's yard. And what did they do in the miser's yard? They dug around in the dirt. So, some words that I take away from that is night. If they're tiptoeing, are they going to be loud? Nope, they're going to be super, super quiet. So, I have shown you how readers look for details to help them create mental images of characters, actions, and story events. Do the same as you read today. As you read, use self-stick notes to indicate the key details that will help you see and hear the events in your mind. Also remember to refer to the Create Mental Images anchor chart. Be prepared to share your mental images and explain how they helped you understand the character. So friends, I am going to give you a little bit of time to get on Epic, and I want you to choose a story on Epic, and I want it to be something that's short, and I want you to tell me what mental images you're able to create with that story. So you're going to have about 10 minutes on Epic, and then we're going to roll into our fluency mini lesson and then writing. We're almost through today. Isn't it crazy? Hopefully Miss Hogue will be back tomorrow.